Welcome to the Financial Knowledge Group, where we decode the world of finance one video at a time. Today, we're diving into emerging markets, a topic you may have heard of, but probably haven't explored in depth. These are the countries fueling the next wave of global growth, and investing in them could mean riding the next big economic boom. What are emerging markets? Why are investors turning to them? What are the risks, rewards, and top picks? Stick around, we're breaking down everything you need to know. Emerging markets are nations transitioning from developing to developed status. Think of countries like India, Brazil, Vietnam, Mexico, South Africa, and Indonesia. They typically have fast-growing economies, expanding middle classes, and rapid industrialization. However, they also face unique challenges: political instability, weaker infrastructure, and currency volatility. The International Monetary Fund and World Bank often classify these economies based on GDP per capita, financial system maturity, and integration into the global economy. Why should you care? Because these countries are where future consumer growth, innovation, and labor expansion are happening at scale. There are three main reasons investors are excited. First, higher growth potential. Many developed economies grow at 1 to 2% annually. Emerging markets, some exceed 6 to 7% GDP growth. Second, demographic advantage. Younger populations, rising urbanization, and a growing middle class create a perfect storm for long-term demand in housing, technology, healthcare, and finance. Third, untapped markets. In areas like mobile banking, electric vehicles, and e-commerce, adoption is just getting started. Think China in the early 2000s. Also, many multinational corporations are expanding into these countries, bringing more infrastructure and capital investment, driving growth even further. Let's explore some of the top emerging markets and their investment potential. Starting with India. India is on track to become the world's third largest economy by 2030. With over 1.4 billion people, rapid digitization, and massive infrastructure projects, sectors like Fintech, clean energy, and manufacturing are booming. Brazil is Latin America's largest economy. It's rich in natural resources, has a strong agribusiness sector, and benefits from global demand for commodities like soy, iron ore, and oil. Vietnam is a rising manufacturing hub. As companies shift supply chains out of China, Vietnam is benefiting from low labor costs and stable governance. Nigeria is Africa's largest economy, with massive potential in mobile banking, agriculture, and tech innovation. Over 60% of the population is under 25, creating a huge youth market. Indonesia is the fourth largest population globally, with a strong domestic economy and growing exports. Digital startups and fintech are booming, with support from government reforms. Artificial intelligence isn't just a developed world phenomenon anymore. Emerging markets are rapidly adopting AI in healthcare, agriculture, finance, and education. In India, AI is being used to optimize crop yields and improve disease diagnostics in rural areas. Brazil is investing in AI to modernize its banking and e-commerce sectors. Meanwhile, Vietnam and Indonesia are using AI to power logistics, facial recognition, and government services. These countries may not be leading in AI research yet, but their adoption and implementation are growing at breakneck speed, driven by necessity and leapfrogging older infrastructure. Emerging markets are becoming major players in the global shift toward clean energy. India is leading the way with massive investments in solar and wind power, aiming to reach net zero by 2070. Brazil already generates over 80% of its electricity from renewables, mainly hydro. Indonesia and Vietnam are both scaling up green energy to reduce reliance on coal and attract foreign investment. Africa, particularly Nigeria and Kenya, is embracing solar microgrids and off-grid energy solutions to electrify rural communities. With growing populations and rising demand, clean energy isn't just about the environment, it's about economic survival. Fintech and digital banking. Fintech is exploding across emerging markets, where millions of people remain unbanked. In Nigeria and Kenya, mobile money platforms like M-Pesa and Flutterwave are revolutionizing how people store, send, and borrow money. In India, UPI, the Unified Payments Interface, has created one of the fastest-growing cashless economies. Latin American countries like Brazil and Mexico are seeing record investment in digital banks and neobanks. These markets skipped over traditional banking models and went straight to smartphones. The result? Massive financial inclusion, lower transaction costs, and a thriving environment for innovation. E-commerce and digital infrastructure. E-commerce is another rapidly growing sector in emerging markets. With increased internet access and smartphone penetration, platforms like Flipkart in India, Mercado Libre in Latin America, and Tokopedia in Indonesia are serving millions of new digital consumers. AI is also playing a role, helping these companies personalize experiences, optimize logistics, and scale efficiently. Governments are investing in broadband infrastructure and digital IDs to support this digital revolution. As more people come online, the e-commerce wave in emerging markets is only getting started. Manufacturing and supply chain evolution. Many emerging markets are evolving into global manufacturing hubs, and technology is playing a key role. Vietnam, India, and Mexico are becoming alternatives to China for tech and electronics assembly. AI and automation are being used to improve quality control, reduce costs, and increase output. Governments are incentivizing companies to reshore or nearshore operations backed by better infrastructure and skilled labor forces. These shifts are changing the global supply chain and giving emerging markets a powerful seat at the table. No investment is without risk, especially not emerging markets. Here are the main challenges. 1. Political instability. Elections, coups, and corruption can spook investors and hurt markets. 2. Currency volatility. Many emerging markets have unstable currencies. Exchange rates can wipe out gains if not hedged. 3. Regulatory risks. Some governments impose restrictions on foreign investments or change rules rapidly. 4. Lack of transparency. Financial reporting may not be as reliable, and markets may be less liquid. That's why diversification and careful analysis are crucial. Now, let's talk investment strategies. First, ETFs and mutual funds. For most investors, this is the easiest path. Funds like Vanguard FTSE Emerging Markets ETF or iShares MSCI Emerging Markets ETF give broad exposure. Second, country-specific ETFs. Want targeted exposure? Try iShares India 50 ETF, Global X MSCI Nigeria ETF, or VanEck Vietnam ETF. Third, multinational companies with emerging market exposure. Think of Coca-Cola, Unilever, or Apple, all have major revenue from developing economies. Fourth, direct stocks. If you're experienced, you can invest directly in ADRs, American Depository Receipts, of emerging market companies listed on US exchanges. Always research carefully and watch for fees, liquidity, and political events that could impact performance. Emerging markets are no longer optional for a globally diversified portfolio. By 2050, it's estimated that China, India, and Indonesia will be among the top 5 largest economies. Tech adoption is accelerating, clean energy is being prioritized, and trade networks are expanding. Even institutions like the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa are forming financial alliances to reduce reliance on Western systems. We're witnessing the birth of new economic powerhouses. Ignoring them may mean missing out on the next big wave of growth. So, is it time to invest in emerging markets? Only you can decide, but now, you're equipped with the knowledge to make a smart move. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an update on the world of finance. Drop a comment below. Are you investing in emerging markets? Which country excites you most? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.